And then we moved over to overhead dumbbell extensions, which we did 2 arms at a time. As you see, what we try to do is angle back at a good stretch. I'm really just trying to stretch as much of the muscle as possible on these. Went up to 55 pounds, which was pretty relatively heavy in each arm. And really just, got the squeeze. You saw I did that deep stretch at the bottom and then get that contraction at the top. Really, really good for that. Then we moved over to the 1-arm tricep extension on the cable, which, with this, it's more people call it a finishing movement, but I really like it as a contraction movement in the middle of my workout. Really get that squeeze in there. Try to solely focus on each tricep individually, and still keeping the repetitions high. Which a lot of arm training, I keep my repetitions up a little bit. So with that, we did 4 sets there. Moved over to the overhead cable extension with a straight bar. Which you saw we added some weight to that, and really just trying to get the squeeze and push more with the fingers rather than the palms itself. Really seemed to help get a better contraction and bring as much stretch in as possible with the heavy weight. But you saw I locked out on a couple, and that's what I tend to do with the tricep movements, is lock out a little more on each exercise.
Nice. 14, let's go.
Next, we moved into bicep training, which we started with a preacher curl, which I've been doing lately, just really trying to get the blood in there and keeping the elbows in a lock position. We used the hammer strength 2-arm preacher curl, which I did a couple warm-up sets and then moved into 3 working sets, about 15 repetitions with that. I mean, after the first set, I was pretty pumped up, to be honest. I mean, once I do tricep training, it's like doing quads like we did last night with quads and hamstrings. My first set of hamstrings, I'm always pumped up after training quads. So the first set, I was really, really full, and then moved into some heavier weights and really tried to get the squeeze out of those with the preacher curls. We next focused on 1-arm bicep curls on somewhat of a preacher bench, one of the machines in there with a weight stack, which I just focused on isolaterally each bicep, really getting that squeeze in there. Same thing, focused on repetitions, try to get the blood, just pump, not try to do anything drastic. I mean, it's a pretty simple muscle to train, so you're really just getting that blood flowing through there. We moved into next the dumbbell curls, 1-arm alternate dumbbell curls, which I did standing today, focusing on a little less repetitions than this, sometimes 8, sometimes 10, worked up to about 55 pounds, I think, with that. Really just, trying to get that power in the bicep and really getting a full contraction on those. And we did 3 or 4 sets there. Next moved over to standing straight bar curls, which I alternate between straight bar and the cambered bar. This week we did straight bar, which I did about 12 to 15 repetitions with that. Went up to almost 100 pounds on that, and with that, just pretty much just trying to get a squeeze in there, getting that deep stretch, and the contraction at the top. Not trying to power through too much. You saw the reps are slowed down a little bit to try to get really really get that bicep to work really, really well.